Hi everyone. In this presentation, each member in the group will tell what he or she will do if they were in the journalist's place in Nothing But the Truth movie. If I were a journalist requested to cover the story of murder crime in Washington, D.C., the accused is Rachel, the reporter, and the murder is Erica Doran, a CIA operative, I would tell the truth and write ethically about it. I would never mind myself about who did the murder, be it a college or author. I would dig deep and wide to arrive at details through asking some eyewitnesses, conducting interviews. I'll also hold discussion about the subject so as to achieve reliability and trustworthy. A conference was being held when a female break up the conference saying that to the court's vice president that she will say nothing but the truth. Other things I would do when Rachel Armstrong was accused of killing the CIA operator, who was the wife of Armstrong, Doran wrote the story that may reveal the identity of her source that pushed her into killing the government, revealed that Rachel is revealing his source who pushed her into killing Erica, the CIA woman. Therefore, she is quickly thrown in jail after being quickly sentenced to jail by court. The film produced on the story itself is no documented evidence to tell what really happened. Furthermore, when the film premiered, it was shot in on the stage of Memphis to avoid disclosing the truth, story, and evidence. Again, is throwing Rachel quickly in jail together with shooting the film on the stage during its premiere night, and the story of the film does not really tell the story makes me suspect that Rachel was the one who murdered Erica. I would write that story that it was fabricated and fake to meme and defame Rachel's reputation and may blackmail her.
In the movie Nothing But the Truth, I thought that it was very controversial because the main conflict was between Rachel protecting her principles, which was protecting the identity of her source, and revealing top secret information which the government won't accept and take legal action against. If I were a journalist, I would have not revealed the information. After watching the movie, I was convinced that journalists should keep their source a top secret, and I was moved by the speech when the lawyer talked about how the person is defined by his principles and talked about how we would know if a president or an army man, for example, violated the law or made an unjust act. However, I should think about others. I should not think about myself and about the award that I would get if I published a certain article or any news. I should think about others. I would think about the consequences of my act and about whether revealing the information would harm others or not. Moreover, there was also a law, which stated and which forbids anyone to reveal the identity of an agent. So I must be aware that if I revealed such information, it would get me into trouble. In the movie, as a result of publishing the article, several consequences resulted in impacting Rachel and Erica's personal and career life. By publishing the article, Rachel violated the law by revealing the identity of a secret CIA agent, which is Erica, which could also harm the national security. Erica also lost her custody over her daughter, and afterwards, she got assassinated. As for Rachel, she was imprisoned for 1 year for hiding the source's identity and was separated from her son, and her marital life was ruined. I would also like to add a very essential point, which is the identity of the source. In our case, the source is a child, which I believe is something contradictive. A child is considered a minor. She could have been lying or have mixed views of her real life and movies that she sees, for example. So, in principle, a journalist should not base his or her argument on unreliable facts. I really respect Rachel's standing for her principles, but if I were a journalist, I won't take such a risk to enhance my career. Others would take such risk, but I would not because I take decisions upon my safety and safety of others.
Hi guys, my name is Zahra, and we were asked to watch a movie called Nothing But the Truth. It's about a journalist called Rachel, who wrote a story about the murder of Erica. and the source of her story was a child. So when she was asked in court to write to reveal her source, she denied because she didn't want to get the child in problems. But personally, if I were a journalist, I would never do such thing. I would never write a story that dangerous, because first of all, I wouldn't want to enhance my career and put my life at risk and my children's life at risk. I really respect her dedication to her work, to the point that she put her own life at risk. She did not care about prison. She did not care about what's going to happen to her children and husband. All she cared about was her career and how to enhance it and how to become bigger. And she didn't want to expose her source, even though if she did expose her source, she wouldn't have been in prison. But she didn't want to. She didn't want to put the child at risk. But first of all, she shouldn't have trusted a source coming from a child, because children they create stuff from their own mind. They watch a lot of movies, so she might have just imagined what happened. So I wouldn't take a story from a child. Also, I would not associate myself with the story if I could not tell the whole truth. And I would not write about the case if it's harmful and would put me in trouble. I would tell the whole truth no matter who I harm. So if I'm going to write a story and I don't care about the person, then I'm going to reveal my source. But if I don't want to reveal my source, I'm not going to write the story. And if I decide to tell the truth, I will not hide any information. I'll just say all the truth. And I would not write a story unless I have more than one source to be sure, like not just from a child. I would have many other sources. And I would not put my life and integrity at risk for a story, because when she went to prison, her reputation was ruined. So I would not do that. And thank you so much for listening.
The movie Nothing But the Truth showed how there are still some journalists who cared about the ethics, integrity, and values of their jobs more than their life. Regardless all of the risks that the journalist put herself into, she strongly held on to what she believed in and refused to give out any information about the source. So, in my opinion, if I was in the same position of the journalist, I would not have taken the story, because it will put a lot of things at risk. First, I will be risking my career and my life. Second, I will be having to reveal the source that will lead in harming the little girl life.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Abdurrahman Ahmed. I'm gonna reflect about the movie. From what I learned about being a journalist, I would never take this story because this I will never tell the whole truth. Uh, Also, ethics are somehow rules that a journalist should follow, and if the journalist didn't follow, he should not be in this place. If I'm forced to cover this crime, I will say the whole truth, and whatever happened happens, but I should mention everything because honesty is a must. Also, after watching the movie and seeing how Rachel was staying as a hero and sacrificed to defend a little girl, he sacrificed himself. This should be a lesson to all the journalists. The last point that I want to mention is, if I was in this situation, honestly, I will not do like Rachel, because this will risk my career, my life, and everything, and I will be put into jail. So I will not make like him.
Hey, if I were a journalist, my decision would be depends upon me at this time. So basically, I have to choose between my family and my job. If I have a family such as my husband and son, I would never ever risk them and put them in danger by myself. However, I will try to save them as much as I can. However, if I live alone without family, without I just responsible for myself and I only live alone, I should take care of myself. At this time, I will share the story as I have nothing to lose. My concern will be about delivering the truth. This all. In addition, to cover a crime or a mystery, I should have more than one source, and to be able to be just like trustworthy for my audience. So, by all means, I would never share half of the story. However, I respect her role as a journalist, and I wish all the journalists have the same ethics and morals and behave upon them. Thank you.